Hey everybody, it is Michael White. As you guys know, I've been promoting this podcast the whole week of having our special guest on named Jillian Schempp, who is pretty much does what I do, a relationship coach. We figured that we would do this collaboration, which is so interesting because you see, she is going to be focusing on today's episode, and we're actually going to be giving you guys a special gift, is reacting to some videos based around that topic of what does a man look for, because a lot of times it's glorified what a woman looks for: 6'3", money, 6-pack abs, long ding-a-ling. It's always glorified. And no one bats an eye. Nobody says you can't have that. But when a man says, well, I just want a woman who's peaceful, uproar.
Oh.
Yeah, uproar. Oh, I want a girl that makes me a sandwich. Oh, you're looking for a slave.
Yeah.
So it's so
How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? Exactly. How dare you tell me to be a slave in the kitchen? I'm gonna let Jillian introduce herself, and then we will continue on with the show. So Jillian, the floor is all yours.
Okay, well, I mean, the short and sweet of it is that I was married quite young. Well, I met my ex-husband when I was 21. We got married at 25. We were together for about 20 years. And then there's a little bit of an echo, so I'm not sure what that is. Can you hear it on your end?
I can hear it on your end, but it's all good. Go ahead.
Okay. Then, we ended up getting divorced. I was just getting into my 40s, and I got out into the modern world of dating, and it was very, very different than when I had met my ex-husband, back kind of in the year sort of 2000. We didn't even have cell phones yet. There wasn't online dating and all of these modern ways of meeting people. So when I dove into the dating scene, it was a wake-up call, because it just wasn't the same as it used to be, and I had to learn how to navigate that. And I just dove into relationship information and started reading books and getting into groups online and just learning everything that I could like a sponge and soaking it all up. And a lot of the information is kind of like preliminary, and you need to learn it. It's a lot about how to protect yourselves from users, losers, time wasters, and abusers. But sometimes we can get really stuck in that particular mode of protecting ourselves. And that was the crux for me for finding somebody, because I realized that, and I will admit it, I realized that a lot of the information that I was learning was almost like a strategy, sort of game playing type of way of being. And that is not how you make deep emotional connections that bind. It might make you a deep emotional toxic trauma bond kind of connection, because you're actually kind of treating people like shit and thinking that the other person is going to want you. But then I evolved and I started finding some other information that was more really based in love and heart-centered. And once I implemented that, and actually, Michael, you helped me too, because you told me to write down what I you told me to write down what I will commit to, what I will not commit to, and what I'm looking for. And literally, as soon as I wrote that down, I met an amazing man right after that.
Oh yeah, I remember the last part on the list. What you're willing to give. Yeah.
Yes, what we're willing to give. And it could, it would probably even shift slightly a little bit now, but it was a really, really good start to getting clear.
But it was close. The list was close. It was pretty close.
It was close. And basically, I think the biggest takeaway from that list and how you really evolved me was I was still accepting poor treatment from people and not understanding. I wasn't understanding that. I wasn't understanding that as soon as, people really do show you with their actions how they treat you and how they feel about you. And I wasn't totally getting that, It took me a long time to get that. I'm kind of a slow learner, to be honest. But
I wouldn't say that. I'm going to add something in there. It's not that. People are afraid to check people. Because at the end of the day, it's not that you're slow learner or anything. It's just when you have to check somebody, you don't know how they're going to react. So a
Yeah.
lot of times, because, and again, it's no shade towards women. Women are very passive. So a lot of the times, like, they don't like conflict.
Yes.
Men will deal with conflict. We'll handle it. We'll go outside. We'll fisticuffs, whatever, you know. But women don't like conflict. They flee from conflict.
Yes. Oh,
So it's not that you were slow. It's more of a sense of checking an individual in a healthy way. But even if it's done in a healthy way, you don't know how they're going to react.
well, that's the thing, and we can make up, all kind of excuses for how people behave, and some of the excuses that people, even if you do address it, well, you have to address it. And actually, we spoke about this not too long ago too, about, do you if a man is starting to pull back, do you mirror that? Right. I
Yeah.
asked a question, and you said something really powerful, and I really like it, and I would like people to implement it as well, because instead of pulling back and mirroring a man who's doing that, maybe you can have a conversation with him and ask him what's going on, right? And then you, just like you said, you might get an answer you like, you might get an answer you don't like, but guess what? You're going to get an answer, and then you can proceed forward with the man, or you can move yourself along, because that man might not be the man for you.
Well, we also have to understand, right? Like, because, like, if something's bothering you, right, and I love that you brought that up. If something is bothering you within a relationship, and you bring it towards someone, yes, you might not like the answer or not, but a lot of times you also have to understand it depends on which sex you're dealing. If you're, hey babe, what's bothering you? Some guys sometimes just want to go into outer space, and what I mean is be in his mind.
Yeah.
Or he wants to go out, he wants to go for a walk, he wants to go to the gym, because he knows that by telling you, you can't do anything.
Right.
Like, literally, you cannot do anything. So he has to sit there in his mind and say, okay, let me go figure this out. Or he has to go talk to another male where the issue's relatable.
Right, exactly. Well, how do you bridge that gap then, before we get into our videos? This is a really powerful topic, because do two people at some point need to have a conversation and say, hey, we need to agree upon a way that when things do come up, or if there's something that I'm not understanding, if there's something happening and I feel maybe an energy shift and I want to know what it is, how we as a couple are going to approach these things. Because how many times do these things get swept under the rug? The woman goes cold, the man, goes cold. That then when the topic comes up, then it's a source of, like a little pinprick in your skin, and people are getting agitated, and then maybe people are getting angry, and then maybe there's resentments. How do you think is a good way for couples to, when things come up, and maybe a woman wants to say something and she doesn't want to be a doormat, but she doesn't want to nag, what's a great way to bring things up, to bring them out into the open in a healthy, positive, adult, loving way?
Well, I'm going to say this. It depends on the person you're dealing with and how they give and receive love. And when conflict arises, how they handle conflict.
True.
So, for example, a man might want to be in his own headspace. A woman, when she's in conflict, she might want to be in her own headspace. She might be like, don't touch me, please, just leave me be. So, again, it depends on the individual, because some people, when conflict arises, they want to be loved more.
True.
You see, so it really depends on the individual, right? So that's what I mean. Like, it's not one glove kind of fits all.
Yeah.
It really depends on the two parties involved. So I would say for myself, during conflict, I need like time to gather my thoughts.
Yeah.
But what I do is I let the person know that they're still loved. I'm just stepping away. Doesn't mean I'm stepping out of the relationship or breaking up with them. I'm stepping away. Now, if I'm having a conflict with them, I will deal with it on the spot.
Oh, okay.
You see,
I'm
that's
glad
different.
that you made that discernment.
Yeah, some people need space when they're having a conflict with their partner. I can deal with it right away. But if it's something in my personal life or whatever it is, I need to step away to recalibrate that.
Yes.
And then come back to you and say, this and this happened, but I've done this and this and this.
Right. So this is exactly the same thing that John Gray has been telling people, that men kind of go into like their man cave and you need to kind of give him that space. Then he'll
Mhm.
come out of the cave and then he's going to come probably find you and seek you out and talk to you
Exactly, but it depends on if you're having conflict personally or if it's conflict with her. Because if
about.
it's
Right.
conflict with her,
Woo.
some guys want to fix it right away.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
guys want to go into their cave.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you need to figure this out with the person that you're with, because conflict resolution is something that I think every couple needs to deal with, and every couple probably needs to have a plan in place for the two of them, to learn how to deal with this kind of stuff.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's why I was saying that it really depends. Christelle, hi. Christelle's here. I wanted to say hi to her, but
Okay.
she brought up an amazing point. Guys always need headspace. They do. And that's what I mean. It depends on the man, because if it's an internal issue, he
Yeah.
needs headspace. He needs time to
Right.
walk away.
Right.
If it's an
Right.
issue with you, it depends on the man. Because
Right.
again, some men out here are very in their feminine side. I'm not going to sit here and judge them for that, but
Yeah.
during conflict, they want to be loved more during
Right.
conflict with her.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
then
just so everybody knows too, because the topic today, because I don't want anybody to think that we are placing men above women or women
we're
above
not
men. That never I would never do that. I know you would never do that. This
mm,
conversation is more about
bridging the gap.
what a man needs from a woman in order to commit to her. And I think the reason that we are doing this is because there's so much bad information out there being given right now, that is not teaching people how to actually make those connections with men. It's like the women can do this, the women can do no wrong, but if a man brings up anything that he needs, which is just as valid as what the woman needs, it tends to kind of get like smashed in this.
100%.
There's like a
100%.
Yeah, there's like this narrative, this movement to kind of I suppose feminize men, like
Suppress.
emasculate men.
It's literally suppressing what men want. That's what
Masculine,
it comes
yeah,
down to. It's we'll glorify one side,
yeah.
we'll suppress the other
Why
side.
do we always have to do that? But I guess that's human nature. It's like the pendulum is always swinging from one side to the other, isn't it?
It
Like,
now it the pendulum has spread, because again, and I'm glad that we're going to get into this um, before we start reacting to the videos.
yeah.
Jillian, I know that like we both agreed on the topic, but what made you, like, in your thought process or with your experience as a dating coach or just you dating in general, made you say, qualities that men look for? Why was it important to you to say, let's talk about what qualities men look for?
Well, again, I think I kind of said it before, a couple of minutes ago, is that I just really recognized a lot of the information that I had personally been listening to was actually really, really toxic. And women deeply, 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 well, many women, I can't speak for every woman. Not every woman on this planet wants a relationship. But for the women that have that in their heart and it keeps speaking to them, I want a relationship, I want to find that person, I want to find my partner, there's a lot of really bad information out there that is actually, like I said, teaching people like strategies and games, and
Manipulation.
it's manipulation, and it misses the mark completely. And in fact, you cannot build any kind of loving, solid, healthy, emotional foundation with a man unless he's maybe unhealed, and he's not a healthy masculine man himself. We don't want those guys. We want a healthy masculine man. We want his energy coming our way. And with the improper information, which there's so much of it out there, there's no way to be able to connect with that healthy masculine man when you are playing games, when you are and you don't even realize, sometimes you don't even realize what it is that you're doing. You think it's just a strategy, but really, unless you are coming at somebody, it doesn't matter if it's your child, it doesn't matter if it's your friend, it doesn't matter if it's your lover, it doesn't matter who it is. When you give love, you get love. And listen, the caveat here is if you are giving love to somebody who is not giving you love back, I'm not talking about those people. Those are not the people you want to build relationships with. But
I'm
we,
actually gonna. I love that you said that. I'm actually gonna add a caveat to
yeah,
that. Something interesting. Just because you give love to someone, don't expect it back.
exactly. And in
Don't.
relationships, we both know that many of the people that we meet are not going to
Well,
be
because you see, that's one of the information out there that's very toxic is taught that, well, if I give, they have to give back to me.
right.
They don't have to do anything.
No.
If they give back to you, great. If
Yes.
they don't, cool. But that's
Pay
the thing.
attention.
We get
If they don't
so
pay attention to the actions that somebody is presenting to you, because, and we've talked about this multiple times, it's all in the person's actions. And you know when somebody, you know when a man, you know when a girl likes you, and you know, we know when a man likes us. It's very clear when a man likes a woman, and it's, well, I shouldn't say that it's very clear. Sometimes people get very confused about that,
yeah.
but it's all in the people's actions. And if their actions this is where people get so messed up. If their actions are not speaking to you in a way that's showing you that they care about you, then yes, you do have to get out of those relationships. And you know, it can take a little bit of time sometimes to figure that out. And we do have to give people some grace while we are dating, because not, yes, there's shysters out there, absolutely, but there's also good people out there too that are,
100%. But
you know,
the giving has to be genuine because you see, a
yeah,
lot of times people only look at love as an exchange
yeah,
because what happens is they'll say, well, I've done this and this and this for you.
yeah,
Love doesn't keep a record of what it's done. It just
right,
gives. So
yeah,
that's the
that's true,
thing. If you were coming at it in a mindset of, well, I did this for you and I did that and I did that, and you don't really love the person. You're only
right,
loving what they can do for you because love doesn't keep a track record. Let's be honest about it. If you're keeping a track record of all the things that you do for people
yeah,
or in your relationship, what you're saying is I'm trying to impress you.
that's
It's
right.
not coming from a genuine place anymore.
Oh, it's so true. It's so true. And that's where the heart-centeredness comes in. Because when you really do love somebody, your love cup is full and it's just overflowing to that person. But
Exactly.
when it's not full and somebody is giving to you from that place of an exchange, but it's not
It's
heart-centered,
empty.
it's empty. And then you like want something back. It's not this, my cup is full, your cup is full, I love you truly, and we are flowing that love to one another. And it just flows beautifully.
Yeah,
It's
because when a
beautiful.
fight happens, that's when it comes out. I did this for you. I did that
Yeah,
for you. And then it gets weaponized. So that's
yeah,
what I'm saying, that it's very important that when you're dealing with people, or especially in a relationship context, that you're dealing with somebody that gives from a genuine loving space. They're not keeping records of all the good, the bad, and what hasn't been done and what has been done. Now,
yeah.
obviously, again, love is not enough.
Hmm,
Love is
hmm.
one of the keystones, but it's not enough. There's some other factors, but that video we can
Yes,
definitely save it for another day.
yeah.
But no, let's get into our reaction videos because I've watched the videos. I don't know if you've watched them, if this is going to be a surprise for you, Jillian. Um, but they are great videos from one of my favorite speakers. He's the one that got me into wanting to talk about dating and relationships and all that wonderful stuff.
Yep,
I've shared his videos before in the past. His name is Stefan Speaks.
yep.
I know Jillian's watched some of his content and she enjoys his content just as much as I do. So he's going to break down some of his points. I'm going to mute my mic and then we will get into the video and we'll break down each of his points. We'll come to a conclusion. We got 2 videos for you guys today. So strap in and let's have a great time.
Woohoo!
minded, serious men what they want in a woman. All right. So let's get right to it. Number one is a positive attitude or positive energy. Listen, the raw man, the man who just wants to have sex with you, he does not care about your attitude and energy because that guy is focused on how you look, what he can get for you from you, how you're going to be a convenience to him. All right. So in that regard, he is not turned off by a negative attitude. He's not turned off by bad energy. He's not turned off if you come off too masculine. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the video. So stick around to the end of the video. But he's not deterred by that. He doesn't care about that. But a good man, a man who wants a relationship, a man who's serious-minded, is looking for a woman who brings positivity in his life. Listen, what man wants to deal with the stress of the world and then have to come home to the stress of his woman? He doesn't want that. Now, when I say the stress of his woman, I don't mean he's going to be unwilling to deal with when you are stressed and help you. I just mean that he wants a woman that can bring positivity and love into his life, someone that can uplift him in that way, someone that can essentially bring peace to his world. And so when you're not exuding that kind of energy, you're going to have a harder time meeting a good man because some of you are good women, but you're not positive women. You don't exude that energy that makes a man feel like, okay, I can establish a life with her. Now, I don't want you to feel triggered by this video or insulted in any kind of way, but I want to present these facts to you in a way that's going to be helpful and to highlight where you may be looking at things the wrong way, which contributes to not getting the results that you're looking for. So this isn't just about knowing what he wants so that you can give it to him. It's also knowing about what he wants so that you can start attracting better into your life as well. Okay.
Boom.
Okay, is there anything you want to add to that?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, who wants to come home to crazy negative energy? I mean, our homes are our place of peace. And this is so great because women, again, a lot of the information that I used to listen to, and that was really bad information, is not about bringing peace to a man. Women really are not taught. He's a very high level coach. And, so when a man comes home and like, if the first thing that you're doing is like maybe the first thing that you can do is just say, hey babe, how was your day, and set the tone for something positive and something peaceful. Now I don't know if you've ever had a woman come home. I don't know if you have an experience where a woman has come home and like dumped all of her stuff on you, and that's going to happen sometimes because that's real life. Sometimes women get stressed too, but if a man is always coming home and it's always just like negative energy and problem after problem after problem after problem, day after day after day, instead of like, hey babe, how's it going? How was your day? And maybe starting something off positive like that, after a time, obviously that's going to get, it's going to get so hard to handle that maybe he's going to start working late. Maybe he's going to start like not coming home. You know what I mean?
And look, I'm going to take the glasses off when I say this.
Yeah.
Jillian touched on something that was really interesting. I love that he also said the difference between a positive woman and a good woman. You could still be a good woman, but very negative. And that's the thing. If you are very negative, and I'm going to say this with the straightest face, and your man's not coming home to you every night, that is a problem. It's probably because you are too negative. He doesn't feel like that is a home. Now, an excellent point was brought up by Jillian that it's never going to be perfect. There's going to be days that are going to be stressful and strenuous and stuff like that. That's fine. But as long as it's not all the time. Right. If it's all the time, what starts to happen is the man starts to say, I'm going to go hang out with Frank, my single friend Frank, go have some beers with him 2 to 3 times a week. It starts to develop slowly. Oh, I'm going to go do this. And then the woman's sitting there, why isn't he coming home? Why doesn't he want to be with me? Why does he want to spend time with me? It's because of those very reasons. Your attitude stinks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are afraid, and I hate to say this, to say that to women because it's like we're not allowed to say that as men. You're not allowed to say that my attitude stinks. Women are sugar, spice, and everything nice.
Right. Right.
What?
Well, that's why we're doing this podcast, is because, both men and women need a voice in the dating space, especially right now more than ever. And it's a time to really just understand each other. It's not about, listen, different people, this is just me, okay? I don't judge anybody for throwing the word submission around. A lot of people don't like that word. I don't particularly like that word either. When we're talking about dating and relationships, I like to use words like we're respecting each other. I like the word
Oh,
I
you know
respect.
what? I think it was you, or maybe it was someone else. When we first started talking, I used the word willful cooperation, and you were more agreeable to
Oh,
that word.
yes, yes. Willful, like and you can even take the word willful out. It's just cooperating. Why would we not? In a loving partnership, people just get so crazy about this stuff about, oh, he's asking me to submit or whatever. Okay, let's not use this word. Let's use words like we want to be in relationships where we actually get along with each other, for goodness sakes. Or else why would we be in any relationship? There's going to be issues in any relationship, a friendship, parent child relationships, friend and relationships where we're with a friend and a lover. But not everything is always going to be roses. But we want to be able to get along. We want to be able to understand each other. Don't you want to be able to understand your partner? I want my partner to understand who I am and to understand what I need, just as much as I want to understand what he needs from me, because I love him. And if we don't love each other, if he doesn't love me and I don't love him, then we just don't have any business being together. So I want to talk about things that create the highest level relationships possible, so that people can have these amazing relationships, and they're here, they're available, they've always been around. There's amazing people, there's loads of good men, there's loads of good women. Sometimes we just need to have these conversations so that we can understand each other a little bit more. And I want peace. Sometimes I think there's like this masculine and this feminine. And masculine and feminine obviously is very two different energies. But some of the times we both want the same things. Like, I want a peaceful home, and a man wants a peaceful home. We both want the same things.
I like that you said that, and I'm going to say something shocking on this podcast, and we're going to take the gloves off when I say it. A real man doesn't have to ask a woman to submit. His character alone will already want her to submit to him because of his character. He doesn't have to ask her to do it.
No, she will. If she is in love with him, she
Yeah,
will want to naturally please him.
exactly. He doesn't have to ask. It's like, if for a woman, she doesn't have to ask for a man to be masculine. If that woman is genuinely feminine, that man will genuinely be masculine.
That's
You
right. If
don't
she has
have
to
to
ask
ask
him,
for it.
if she has to ask him to be masculine, I'm sorry, he's not dateable. He's not.
No,
If
but
he's
like
not,
in some scenarios, like
yeah.
women will be like, in this part of time, he wasn't masculine at this particular moment.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying these things don't have to be asked for. Your character and what you exude to that individual, they will either cooperate with it or they won't.
Right, right. And I don't know if he's going to get into this as one of the things. Maybe he gets into this in one of his other points. I don't know. But when I can tell you, when a woman truly does love a man, if he asks her to do something, she is going to be willing to do that thing. I'm not talking about him asking her to do something that's compromising of her character.
Yeah, like he's not asking her to build a rocket ship.
I'm not talking about him saying, "Oh, we've been dating for a year and I've never brought up that, I want to be a polygamist and I want
Yeah.
to, bring a third person in." I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, I will give you a personal example of the man that I date. And I had said something, like I had used the Lord's name in vain, and to him, like that, he did not like that. And you know what? He brought it up with me, and I respect him. I respect him so much. And he did not ask me to do something that was going to be detrimental to my character or anything like that. I respect what he asked me to do. And from that point forward, I'm watching what I'm saying about not using the Lord's name in vain, because it means something to him and I adore him. And so I am going to be watching that I don't say that in front of him. It was a reasonable request, and I am more than willing to adapt to that, because there's going to be adaptations. Nothing is going to be 100%.
I agree with you, and how you talk about everything sets the tone, right? Like,
Yep.
I went on a date last week. It was fantastic, right? Right now, we're on a good run.
Yep.
And she brought something up to me that made her feel a little uncomfortable. She said, I didn't really like it when you called the waitress sweetheart. To me, that's just normal.
Right.
Because it's like their job is tough. It's hard. To me, it's meaningless, right?
Yeah.
Just no problem, sweetheart. To her, it means the world.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, trust me, if we start dating seriously, that stops.
Yeah.
And she said, I appreciate the fact that you considered that right off the bat.
Right.
So you see what I'm saying? It's all about how you engage with your partner, right?
That's
when they
right.
bring up certain topics, male, female, is how you handle it.
That's right. And what would have happened if I would hope from her point of view that if she had brought that up, obviously it was enough of a concern for her that if you had dealt with it in a very different way, and you had said something like, that's the way I treat people. Like, if you don't like it, sorry girl, but
she'd be gone.
So, if you cared about, you obviously thought something about this girl, because you thought, okay, she doesn't like this, and I like her enough that I'm going to step that up a little bit.
Exactly. And I gave her the preference and saying, to me, like we're getting to know each other, but if I get into a relationship, that stops, because again, I don't want to use things that make you feel uncomfortable. So especially if there's future dinner dates and all these other things, and she's sitting across the table from me, and all she hears is every time we go out to dinner, oh, thank you, sweetheart, thank you. Then she doesn't feel special anymore. I've taken that away from her.
Exactly. And there goes the peace.
Well, not only, there goes the peace, but then what also goes with it is also the respect, because I didn't consider a request. And then once the respect goes, the relationship goes.
It's over. Yeah, it's over at that point. It's just like,
yeah, literally. So now we're going to hop on to point 2.
So positive attitude, positive energy, that's one of the top things a good man is looking for. Second on the list, and this is in no particular order, but second on the list that a good man is looking for or really wants in a woman is physical attraction. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, looks shouldn't matter. And it's what's on the inside that counts. And yes, what's on the inside counts most, but we cannot act like what's on the outside has no contribution to the dynamic whatsoever. It's going to have an impact. We all do it. Now, some of us may be more flexible than others. Some of us may not be as picky, but physical attraction, all right, does play a role. And now notice I said physical attraction, not necessarily looks. When we say looks, we're highlighting more so very specifics as far as people saying, okay, they got to look like this. They have to have this type of body type, so on and so forth. A good man is not as like locked into it has to be this, and that, but he does want physical attraction. And even if he has a certain type in his head, if he meets a woman that he has a connection with and there's an attraction there, he will still more than likely be willing to embrace that. But what I need for a lot of women to understand is that attraction is not love, okay? And the reason why it's important, and you can read about this more in my book, How to Get a Man to Cherish You. Don't get triggered by the title, all right? There's more to it than you realize. I got the link in the description, in the comments section. Trust me, you will understand after you read the book. But in my book, How to Get a Man to Cherish You, I break down the fact that a lot of women start to look at love and attraction as the same. For example, woman gets married, And let's say she starts to gain some weight. She's not looking the way she used to look, okay? And it's a strong deviation from what she used to look like. And now the man starts to lose attraction. And she'll say, well, he doesn't love me anymore. And I will say to that woman, no, it's not that he does not love you anymore. He's struggling with being attracted to you. And when we're talking about romantic relationships, attraction is important because a man or a good man can love you regardless of how you look, all right? Can love you, meaning that even if you weren't in a relationship with him, if he loves you, he loves you. Your looks does not, his love is not contingent on your look. However, to desire being in a committed romantic relationship with you, now attraction is a real factor. And we can't simply dismiss it and say, well, if you love them, it wouldn't matter. It plays a role. Yes, I do believe wholeheartedly that when there is true love and true connection, we are more flexible with it. But again, it's still a part of the equation. We don't just simply dismiss it. And when attraction goes out the window, respect starts to go out the window. Affection goes out the window. Sexual pleasure goes out the window. So many things now fall to the wayside because we've now neglected the need to maintain attraction. So to get back to the original point, yes, attraction is something even good men desire. And I would argue everyone desires a level of attraction to their partner. It's not about specific looks, but it is about attraction being there.
Wow. Is there anything you want to say, Jillian, first?
Well, I mean, I agree with them. If there's attraction, in my opinion, is what differentiates a friendship, and a lover. So yeah, I mean, honestly, yes.
But I like that he separated the two. That's what's crazy, because he said, I can still love you. I'm just not attracted to you.
Totally
that to me was very interesting.
I can love a guy friend. It doesn't mean that I'm attracted to him. I can love a guy friend, but it does not mean that I'm attracted to him. What would make him a romantic counterpart or somebody that I'm interested in is because I'm attracted to him. Point blank, period. Don't ever get, like, if that attraction is not there, some people don't care about this stuff. I do. I am I'm like a big proponent of it because I don't know, I'm just a very passionate person. So it doesn't matter if it's my work, that I'm doing, my career, whatever I'm doing in life, if it's a partnership, if there's no passion, it's like, it's dead energy. It's not a romantic energy to me. So I agree with what he's saying. And I do differentiate the two. Love and attraction are two different things. And
but why do women mix them up is the question.
Maybe it's just a lack of understanding. It's a lack of relationship. I like to call it like relationship consciousness. And there's a scale, and I think once you start going up that scale of relationship consciousness, you understand that both are necessary. You need attraction and you need love, both. And when you have both of those, wow.
Yeah, see, then the relationship gets better. But the thing is, and I love that, because we're going to break this down. We're going to drop the hammer on it. Women always say, look shouldn't matter. Why do they say that?
Well, looks won't matter if you're attracted to the person. Looks don't matter. If you are attracted to the person, you will have some kind of, I don't know where attraction comes from. I don't know. I think that's why I think that sometimes there is a spirit. I know that I don't know if you agree with the spiritual stuff, but on a spiritual level, we don't always understand from that higher level why did I just look across the room, and why did that guy just look across the room way over there, and was there just an energetic connection that felt like electricity? I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know why it happened, but attraction is either just there or it's not. And
I love that you said that attraction is non-negotiable. You're attracted to who you're attracted to, right? Yeah. And I think a lot of the times why people say looks don't matter, it's because they're not comfortable in their own looks. Looks matter. Flat out. They matter. Because as he says, if looks don't matter, how am I going to be attracted to you on a sexual level?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
If
and it's
I'm
even
not
just,
attracted to you.
well, and that's the thing too. And I mean, this is going off on a tangent a little bit, but I
No.
mean, attraction, you know, like for example, the man that I date, we had this conversation too. Like he's always in the gym, you know, and so, you know, physical fitness is important to him, and that physical fitness is important to me too. I mean, because it's not just about the looks, it's about how you feel about yourself. It's about feeling good. It's about having energy. You know,
But let's
there's,
pull the layer back. You're physically attracted to him.
and your physical, yes.
You wouldn't be dating him if you weren't attracted to him.
No,
Like,
I wouldn't. No,
so it mattered.
it
Like
matters.
it mattered.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's not the only thing that matters.
no, it's
but
not
in
the
this
only
case,
thing that matters. But I'm gonna say a saying here: looks get you in the door. Personality keeps you in the house. So his
right.
looks got him in the door.
Yes.
If he didn't look the way he looked, he wouldn't even get to the doorstep.
Exactly. Exactly. If there wasn't something about the way that he looked that I was like, dang, you know.
So that's what I'm saying. Like
Okay.
it's funny to me that we get so caught up and angry when we say, "Look, shit, it matter." They matter.
Well, so true. They matter, and I think sometimes, you know, you know, it's really hard to say because there's no one size fits all in any of this information. And so, you know, two people, like I said, they can like be way across the room and they look at each other and like there's a bolt of electricity that hits them both. And it's like, where did that come from? And then there's other times where people go on a date and it's like, okay, I'll go on a second date. I kind of like this person's character. And you know, really and that attraction can be, it's like, oh my God, this person is becoming more and more attractive to me. That can happen. Attraction can build. I think sometimes what happens is that it's just not really there. And then you keep dating this person and you're hoping that the attraction is going to be there. And maybe everything else is great too. Maybe you like have all these things in common, but you know what? You can have a million things in common. But if that attraction is not there, a relationship will not be. And if,
See,
and if,
see, that's why I will disagree with you a little bit. Like, because some people will say, "I'll grow to get attracted to them." You're either attracted to them or you're not. Like when you start
It's
to
been my
play devil's,
experience, Michael. I will say that what you're saying has been my personal experience.
Mhm.
It's either there or it's not.
Yeah,
I have
because when you
not
play
had,
devil's advocate like that,
yeah,
oh man, let me go on a couple more dates with them, and then I think, oh, you're not attracted to them. Just that's the truth. You do not like them like that. Like
I
there's
would
no
say,
convincing yourself because then you're having to push yourself on these dates
right?
that you don't want to be on. Like because then
Yeah,
it's
there's
like
no energy there. The energetics are just not there to keep creating.
exactly. So then it's like, why put? Oh, I'll go on date number 4, and maybe I'll like them this time. If you
Yeah,
didn't like them the first time, what makes number 4 any better?
yeah. I'm at a place in life where I'm like, it's either a hell yeah or it's
Or
a
hell no.
hell no. And if
Yeah,
it's like if you're questioning it, that's a hell no.
exactly. If you have to question it, then it's no.
It's probably a hell no. It's probably a hell no. Have a kiss, and if it's like kissing a fish, sorry, but
Kissing. I like that. Exactly. Exactly. So we'll move on to
yeah,
point 3. That was
yeah.
solid.
Number 3 thing that men really want in a woman, or good men really want in a woman, is transparency. Now,
Ooh,
this is a big one. I don't think women are completely grasping. All right,
wow.
because here's the thing: men are very logical thinkers. We don't speak in code. We say what it is. That's it. And again, we're focusing on good men. So don't start with the, well, these dudes be saying all this, that, and the other and confusing you. Those are not good men. Those are men who are not meant to be in your life. They do not apply to what I'm talking about here. But a good man and a man who's serious about you, all right, he's looking to have transparency. He doesn't want to play this I have to figure you out game. All right. It's not that he won't love you enough to want to try to dig deeper and discover things on his own, but don't make it stressful for him. He's not looking for the woman who's going to make it this constant process of having to, interpret and analyze and figure out and connect the dots on his own. That's stressful. That's exhausting. So when a woman can be transparent, when she can be forthcoming, that is welcomed, again, by the good man, by the man who's serious about you. He wants and needs and desires your transparency. He wants you to tell him what's wrong. He wants you to tell him when you desire something. He wants you to let him know what you want to eat that day. Like, some of you can't even tell him that. And that's just not really a big one, but I'm just saying, like, he wants transparency. And when you can provide that, that's definitely going to attract them to you, because for a lot of men, that's not something that they get from the average woman.
Yep.
It feels like a game of having to figure things out, which is why you hear men complain about how confusing women are. Because women will say, well, they're communicating, but in reality, they're communicating in a way that they feel conveys the message, but to that man, it's not coming across clearly. Because she's not really being transparent. She's speaking in a way that she feels like you should be able to figure this out and see beyond what's going on. Now, I'm not saying every woman behaves that way, but that is very common. So when you can provide transparency, trust and believe that is definitely something a good man values and desires in a.
Wow. I understand why he's saying that. And I'll tell you why he's saying that. Because women are taught, and I even have it in my book, to be a mystery. Now, I want to break this down, because what he's saying is that, and you said this to me too, Michael, at one point, that when a man loves a woman, he doesn't want that resistance. A healthy, masculine man, when he loves a woman, he doesn't want all this resistance. But women are taught to do what, right? Be hard to get, and to play games, and to do all these things. To be like a natural, to have like a natural mystery about you, in my opinion, every woman should have her own life. I hope every woman has some passion in her life that she's passionate about, something that she's working on. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you like to crochet. I don't care if you like to sell Tupperware. I don't care what it is. For me, I love the dating and relationship space, and I love to talk about this kind of stuff. Every woman should have a life of her own. It's not about trying some sort of strategy so that you're not transparent, so that you're using some strategy to be a mystery. You should always have a life of your own, friends, your family, but you also don't, when a healthy masculine man comes into your life, like you told me, he doesn't want resistance from you. Am I hitting the nail on the head?
You are. I wanted you to finish your thought. You see, the thing is, if a woman's being resistant with you, there's two reasons. She's either been hurt in the past and has like some trust issues, which is stuff that can be worked out.
Yeah.
If she conveys that to you,
right.
If she tells you like, hey, like I've been hurt, this has happened to me, it's workable. But if she's giving you that full-blown resistance, man, she does not like you like that.
That's right.
She does not like you like that, because again, and this is why as a man, you always got to think, there's been guys in her life where she surrendered to like this. And it wasn't pulling teeth to get information out of her.
Exactly. And
but with you, it's hard. She doesn't like you like that. She just doesn't know how to convey the message to say, hey, look, I don't think you're for me.
Right. That's the message that she's sending. That's the message
with her action.
By not being transparent and playing hard to get, which women are taught. Listen, women are taught to play hard to get, and this is not good information.
It's bad. It's bad
information when a healthy, relationship-minded, masculine man comes your way. Because if you play that game with him, he's not going to put up with it.
He's leaving. He is leaving. He is leaving because he knows that in his mind, I can go find a girl that's going to give me less resistance. So it's interesting because on the caveat end, women don't like it when men do it. Oh, you're going to leave me to go find something else better? Yeah, because you're being resistant.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with your resistance.
And women are taught not to show anything.
Now, as I said, there's room for grace, which I'm glad you brought that up, because if she brings up that she's been hurt, she's been had all these things happen to her, there's room for grace, for understanding, to say, okay, that's happened to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least you're trying to heal and move past it.
Exactly. And that's where he's talking about the transparency coming to your man and saying, listen, I've been working on myself. I am trying to do my healing, but listen, I am like triggered right now. And I want you to know, like, I absolutely adore you. Like, I love you. The last thing I want to do is create any friction between us. But this is coming up, and I have to share it with you, and so that we can clear this. And sometimes bringing those things up is not easy. It's not easy to do, but we have to bring them up because this is the person that, if this is somebody that you want to be with, bring it up in a loving way. You know, sometimes people suggest, you know, if you're in a conversation with somebody, to put your hand on their lap or hold their hand so that you're showing that connection when these things are coming up. Be transparent about it, be loving about it, and let them know so that you can,
create the environment for them to express.
Exactly. Alchemize the situation. That's what the word I was trying to use. Alchemize it. Change it into something beautiful and positive that you can both grow even deeper together. So yes, being transparent. I like that. A lot of women are taught to be not transparent. And again, since we're talking about what men need, you know, not holding back all of the time. Like, women are being taught that a man, like, for example, what he said about the food, like, that you should literally just be over here in your, what they call feminine energy, doing absolutely nothing. Girl, it's okay to tell that man where you want to go eat. Teach him what you like. Show him tell him what you like. Tell him what you desire. He wants to know. You know, like,
I like that. And that's true. See, a man wants to know so he can at least please and accommodate his woman. But when they're like, oh, I'm going to make it difficult, we're going to play this hot and cold. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to flat out say it. The men that play those games, those are weak, simpy men that play those games, that fall into, I'm going to do the hot and cold with her. Man, I'm going to break her one day. The wall's going to come down. Nah, because you know what? Chad doesn't have to. Chad is doing less work and getting more of the rewards. And you're putting in all this hot and cold work with her. And what are you getting?
Nothing. Pain.
No
reciprocation. Pain and heartache.
No reciprocation and heartache and trauma.
And then you're passing. And, you know, so we, you know, all this information, toxic information is out there that is not heart-centered. And now you've been traumatized yet again. And now you're going out and traumatizing the next person, and the it's just and on and on it goes.
It's a vicious cycle. Vicious cycle.
So if somebody's playing, you know, if somebody's playing these games with you, that's not your person, and don't play them yourself.
I like that. So let's hear his next.
A woman. Number 4, the number 4 thing men really want in a woman is a willingness to listen. All right. So you heard transparency just now. We want you to be able to tell us what's going on and be forthcoming and honest. But we also want you to be willing to listen to when we have something to say to you. Now, please do not be quick to jump and think this is about just taking orders and doing as I say. No. It's simply about starting with just be willing to listen. Many times, men find themselves in situations or with women who are talking over them, who are just listening to rebuttal, who aren't actually listening. She's hearing him, all right? She hears the audible voice in her ears, but she's so busy processing and analyzing, she's not listening to him. And so a lot of men stop talking and expressing themselves to that woman because they feel like it's pointless. They're not being heard. Now, of course, it's on that man to recognize that if you cannot talk to this woman, why are you even with her? But This video is about what men really want in a woman. And so I want the women to be aware that, yes, you have to show a willingness to listen. You have to show a willingness to pause yourself, stop overthinking in that moment, and just listen to what he has to say and not overanalyze what he's saying. So, for example, quick story. There was once a person I know who went to a counselor with their husband. At the time, I wasn't available to help them out. And so the counselor had him do an exercise where she asked the husband to tell the wife how he felt. And he went on and said how he felt and expressed himself. And then she asked the wife, repeat verbatim what he just said. And they spent over the next hour without the wife being able to say exactly what the husband just said. It was a bunch of, well, I think you mean this, or what you're trying to say is that. She was essentially constantly interpreting, analyzing, and not twisting it like she's trying to manipulate the words, but she wasn't processing it just as he said it. And so a lot of women don't always realize that you're not processing it just as he said it. And again, some of this is due to the fact that you're so used to dealing with wrong men, bad men, that who are being manipulative and lying, that you have to now try to figure out what the real message is and what's really going on, that now you don't know how to take a man's word who is a good man, who is trying to be honest with you and forthcoming. You think it's something else going on when it's really not. You've got to be willing to embrace what he's saying. So you've got to be willing to listen. He wants a woman who is willing to listen. When you don't show that quality, you make it very difficult for a man to embrace wanting to be serious with you in a relationship. All right, number 5 on the list.
Well, and there you have it. There you have it. If you're a woman and you're looking for a serious, committed, high-level relationship with a man, you have to be willing to. This is what I say in my book about the first date. Like, just really just listen. Listen to what he's saying. Watch how a man is treating people, and just kind of be quiet. You know.
You know what? I'm not trying to interrupt you or anything. It's funny that you said, because women get an uproar when you tell them, be quiet.
Well, it's actually for their benefit. It's for their benefit.
Tell me to be quiet. Listen. Don't tell me to be quiet.
Yeah, right. Right. But sometimes it's to our benefit.
I'm going to say something that's interesting. And I love that he said, with the woman I'm getting to know, being heard is so important. Listening and being heard is so important. And what I really enjoy about being around her is she listens. She hears me, but she listens because she asks questions, right? And a lot of the times it scares me a little bit because I'm like, who is she? Because to her, listening and hearing is so important. And like, she doesn't overtalk me. She doesn't cut me off. Like, and I'm like sitting there like, and that's what men crave.
She's respecting you.
Exactly. And that's what men crave. So it's so interesting because, as he said, when he used the example, the wife was never able to verbatim say what the man said.
Yeah.
Like what her husband said. Oh, I think you said this. Oh, maybe you said this.
Yeah.
And this is why I say, shut up sometimes, ladies.
Yeah.
We get it.
Because in her mind, I think she was coming up with a rebuttal.
Yeah. Like, ladies, we get it. You want to be heard. You want to be listened to. But sometimes, Jillian said it. Sometimes you just got to be quiet.
And sometimes, we're talking about what a man needs, but I'll just throw in there. And sometimes a man needs to do exactly the same. He needs to do exactly the same and just let a woman talk. You know, we need the same thing. We need that same respect. But, and when you really care about somebody, and that man is talking and opening up and sharing with you, like, these are precious emotional bonding moments. And if you screw this one up with the man and you want to like overtalk him and you want to like really not being present and really listening to what he's sharing with you in that moment, like the trust factor just goes, wee.
Oh, he's out. He's out.
He's out. But if you can say, wow, babe, I totally understand where you're coming from. I get you, babe. I love you.
Mm.
You
He's
know?
emotionally checking out of that relationship 100% because, see, men and women listen, I think, and it's so interesting because with the listening and hearing, I think we do it for different reasons. So men want to be like, know that you're listening to us, right?
Mhm.
Women want the same thing, but there's like an extension. So usually a lot of times a woman wants to vent out her emotions, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times when she talks about something, because women are more emotional creatures than men are, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times women just want to vent. They don't want you to give them correction. They don't want you to say anything. They don't want you to problem solve. They just want to get the emotion out.
Yeah.
But a man, he just wants to know that he's just heard. He's
Yeah.
not venting. He's like, I just want to know that you hear me.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And just to receive, just to be that feminine, that if you want to know what feminine energy is, this is one of those areas where you can tap into that feminine energy and just receive. Just
That's actually the
listen
last
and just
point, the
receive.
last point that he's going to talk about in the video
Oh,
too.
is it? Okay.
But yeah, no, we'll continue it on, but hopefully you guys took some power away from that. So we're going to move on to the next point.
Of what men really want in a woman, all right, is your respect. This is a big deal. You have to understand, I'm sure some of you have heard where women value security, men value respect, all right? To be with a woman who he doesn't feel like he's respected by, it's not a desirable thing. It's not something that he's going to want to deal with for the rest of his life. Now, some men, many men have fallen into those type of relationships, and those men are miserable right now. And those men are retaliating in very unhealthy ways. It's causing all kinds of destruction. And yes, don't get me wrong. I do believe that for the men listening to this, you have to give her something to respect. You cannot simply think that she should just respect you despite doing things to the contrary, doing things that make her question you, make her not be able to give you that respect willingly. But on the flip side, as a woman, you do have to be willing to give it as well. If you're holding on to past trauma, if you're holding on to bad experiences from your past, and so your level of respect is limited because you feel like giving that makes you too vulnerable, that's a problem that's on you, not him. But one way or another, this dynamic does not work without respect. And what the man wants, what a good man wants, what good men all over the world desire is a woman who respects them, loves and respects them. And let's be real, if you don't respect them, you can't love them. So he knows without your respect, he's not going to get what he's looking for out of you. Now, some men, again, they've made the mistake and gone down the wrong path with that. But make no mistake that is a very important thing. And that is something that the men are looking for or want in a woman. So respect has to be there. And if for some reason you don't feel like he deserves your respect, then I will also ask you, why are you with him? Why are we dealing with people we don't respect? That makes no sense whatsoever. There's no point in trying to continue a relationship if we're not going to find ways to embrace respecting each other. So that needs to happen one way or another. Resolve the issues or this can't work at all.
Wow. See, this is the disconnect between men and women. Women want love, men want respect.
Mm-hmm.
If you cannot respect your man, how can you love him?
Well, you don't.
You don't, even in times of chaos.
Oh, boy.
Think about it. So what you're saying is you can only respect him when times are good, but when times are bad, you're going to be a disrespectful bad B.
Absolutely.
So then you don't really respect him. Your respect is selective. You like to pick and choose when you're going to be respectful.
Yeah, when you're going to respect him. Yeah. I mean, if he's got a character that you can't respect, he's not dateable.
Exactly. And I love that he said that. He said the man has to give her something to respect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not necessarily an earned thing. It's just, is that person a respectable person? Do you, as a woman, look up to this man and go, oh my God, this man is like oh my God, the way he treats me is like unbelievable. He's talented. He's smart. He is good to his mother. He is good to his family. He treats people so well. I like adore and respect this man. And then you're going to get all that love back.
Exactly. Because then it's like playing tennis. You get the love back.
It's just,
but when you
yeah,
don't respect your man, but yet you still expect him to give you love,
it's just a disaster. It's a disaster waiting to happen.
Exactly, because it doesn't make sense. You can't say, well, I'm not going to respect him, but he still has to take me on a date and love me and do all the things under the sun.
Right.
But you're not going to respect him?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't correlate.
Yeah.
So again, guys, I'm actually going to say something here. Guys, if you're really enjoying this video, please like, share, subscribe. If you want to follow Jillian, all of her stuff is down below, guys. You can reach out to her, Facebook, Instagram, email, connect with her, all of it. It's all down below.
Yeah.
So we got 2 more points left. We're going to sum it up.
All right.
But so far, he's spot on all the stuff that he's talking about.
He's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, like everything he's mentioning, it's good information. It's not like, as Jillian said, there's a lot of bad information out there.
We should do a bad information one.
Yes, we should.
Okay.
There's a lot of bad information out there, but he's actually giving good information. Yeah. So we'll continue on.
And it's great if you want to play games and not connect with anybody and have toxic relationships.
Some people do.
Some people like that, you know. I'm not going to judge.
Yeah, like some people do, but at the end of the day, it's like, are you getting the results you're looking for?
Yeah, exactly. It depends what you're looking for.
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Number 6, and remember, a quick reminder again, get your copy of How to Get a Man to Cherish You. Again, I remind you, do not be triggered by the title. Just click the link in the description or in the comments section. You will understand once you read it. You will enjoy it. But let's get to number 6. Number 6 is loyalty and support. Now, I put those 2 things together, even though you could separate them. But one way or another, men, especially good men, they are valuing, and really men, period, they're valuing loyalty and support. Now, please do not confuse support with carrying this man on your back, with building him up to become a man, someone who does not have the right foundation in his life, who does not have the work ethic or the desire to make things happen. I do not want you to get caught up in projects, okay? Because that is not that is an unhealthy dynamic. That's not going to be good for the long-term relationship. But yes, support, encouraging, believing in him. All right, understanding that he has to make time for his dreams. So working with him and creating a balance that allows him to pour into the relationship and into his purpose. Because purpose is what it's really about. Like, it's not even just about career and dreams. It's about purpose. So if you're a man listening to this, you've got to lock into your purpose. And if you're a woman, you've got to make sure that you can support that purpose. If that purpose does not work for you, if it's out of alignment with what you see in your life, then don't try to force the issue in this relationship, because then you will not be able to provide him with the support that he needs. All right. So there has to be an understanding, or we have to be on the same page when it comes to that. But also loyalty is so huge. Listen, men don't want, and this may sound bad, but I'm just going to keep it real. Men don't want the woman who's for everybody. All right. Now, some of you may say, well, I've seen plenty of women who y'all think is for everybody, and she has a man. Listen, because yes, it's not the end all be all. And some men may not care, but I'm going to tell you that a lot of men, that is an important thing to them. They don't want the woman who's for everybody, and they want the woman who they feel like has their back, is going to stick with them. Because it's one thing for a man to expect you to carry him him on your back and get him somewhere, versus don't abandon me when I'm having a rough moment. Don't look down on me when I'm struggling. Don't disrespect me when I'm in a moment of weakness. All right. You've got to show that, yes, I'm going to still pour that love and respect and support into you, even in a bad moment. But again, for that man, you have to show her that those are just moments. That's not going to be your continuous character. That you're not just going to be dwelling in the bottom, expecting her to always drag you out of it. No, you got to show that, yes, I'm going to be the man who does what I'm supposed to do, but we all have moments. And as a woman, I'm going to be there for you and show you that I still can pour into you what you need, even in those moments. So loyalty and support is a huge deal and something that men, especially good men, want in a woman.
Wow. Oh man, that is a crazy point. I love the fact that he said about not building a man up. Like if he's not ambitious, he's not willing to move, he's not willing to do. You're not trying to build a boo.
No. You're not dating the undateable.
Exactly. Why are you trying to build a boo? So, and I love that he said that though, because men want to know that they're supported. Yeah. And I think that this part is very important, is that you won't abandon him in his moment of weakness or when a moment of strife.
Absolutely. If you respect that man and you respect what he's doing and you think he's talented and amazing and he's on his path, we're not talking about him. There's never arriving at some level. I mean, we're always leveling up. We're always moving up. So as long as he's doing his thing and he's a hardworking man, I mean, and he has, like, for me, from my perspective, if I love a man, I'm going to be his number one cheerleader because he's my man. Why shouldn't I treat him that way? Don't I want him to give me full untapped support? So if I want
agreed, and that's what I love what he said, because it's knowing that the woman is going to stick by you. Yeah. But I've seen a lot of women stick by men who are project dudes. Right. No job, no nothing. Oh, but I like him though. I like him so much though. I think that says more about your character than his, especially if he's not a good man. And I love throughout this whole video, that's what Stefan has speaking of. We're not speaking about the garbage men. We're speaking about a good man.
Exactly.
And that's where people are losing their sights, because a good man wants to know that he is supported.
Yes.
Not a trash man, but a good man.
Exactly.
So for me, that was the best one. So the last point is the one that Jillian really wanted to talk about, and that is feminine energy. So that is the final point. And Jillian's probably going to go like beast mode on it. So we're going to hear what Stefan has to say, and then we're going to go beast on it.
Right. Well, like, I think a lot of in the dating space, the feminine, it's interesting. You should actually, if you ever get the chance, you should like ask as many dating coaches as you possibly can to define what they think masculine and feminine
energy is,
because it can be almost a very difficult thing to define, because the feminine energy is the receiving energy and the masculine energy is the giver doer energy. And of course, when those two meet, they
complement each other.
They complement each other. They work in tandem with each other. But yet at the same time, I think what really gets confused, and I don't know if it ties into what he's saying here about being,
well, that's what we're gonna,
whatever. But women are really being taught to be over here doing absolutely nothing, right? Because the feminine energy is the receiving energy, and that means you do absolutely nothing. That's not what feminine, yes, it is the receiving energy. And that does mean that actually, like from that perspective of women do love to be pursued by men. And I do believe that men do love to pursue women. And it's a beautiful energy, and it feels good for him and it feels good for her. Women always want to be pursued by a man. Like
by a man that they desire.
By a man that they desire. Yes.
Yeah, a man that they, and I had to add that in there because it has to be a man that because if it's a man that she doesn't desire, then she doesn't like you.
Exactly. Like I'll give kind of an example that I think is sort of a feminine receiving thing, where it was really allowing like the man that I date to lead me. We were in Mexico City. We were going to visit his parents. I mean, Mexico City is absolutely ginormous. And we were on the train and off the train and into another station and off the train so many
Yeah.
times. Not once, not ever did he let go of my hand.
No
He
way.
had my hand. He led me on the train. He led me off the train. He never faltered with that. He totally kept me safe and he totally led me the whole way. And to receive that, masculine energy from a man is like, there's nothing in this world like that. It feels, it's the most beautiful thing for a woman to be able to receive that. So that's, that's that feminine energy allowing that man to do that. Oh my God, it feels so
To
good.
take care of you. Exactly.
To
Like
take care
allowing
of
the
you.
man to like take care, because a lot of women have been so independent for so long
Right?
that they don't know how to let a man take care of them.
Right. And it's more than just financial provision. It's
No, but it could
things
just
like,
be, as you said, like holding your hand,
yes,
pulling your chair out, opening the door for you, like
yes,
just little things.
all of these things. And tying into kind of what he is saying, feminine energy is also soft and supporting and loving and nurturing. And so I think this is a key aspect that gets missed because women are taught not to do these things for men. But guess what? They want, and I think men need, to connect to the feminine, to our softness and our loving
Agreed.
and our caring and our giving,
Agreed. So let's hear Stefan's last point, because I hope it ties into some of the stuff that you're talking about.
And now number 7, I saved it for last because to me, it kind of sums up everything that we were talking about today. But I'm very big on this, and I think it's extremely important, and that's feminine energy. All right. Now here's the thing. I love y'all. I love every last one of y'all watching this video. The reality is that a lot of women have become detached from their feminine energy. A lot of women don't realize that you're exuding a lot of masculine energy that is repellent to good men. Again, the men who only want to have sex with you, the men who want to use you, the men who are not serious about you, do not care about your masculine energy. If anything, women who carry or exude a lot of masculine energy, you have no problem in a lot of cases attracting good for nothing men who have nothing going on for themselves, who are looking to leech off of you. Because to that man, he will deal with your masculine energy because he's looking at the come up of your financial stability, of your ability to give him a place to sleep, to feed him, to give him sex. He's looking at the other things that he knows you may be willing to tolerate with him in exchange for dealing with things that really aren't desirable to the man who has his stuff together, or to the good man who's serious about you or serious about trying to find a real relationship. So you've got to be mindful of not falling into the trap of thinking this masculine energy that you're giving off isn't a real problem. It really is. And let me just tell you, beyond men, forget men for a second. It's a problem for you. Whether you realize it or not, that masculine energy that you keep holding on to, that you're exuding so much, is stress. It is emotional stress. It is wreaking havoc on you and inside of you. All right. It is wearing you down. It is not making you happy. It does not bring you peace. And it is a defense mechanism in a lot of cases because you use it as your wall up. You use it to not be too vulnerable. You use it as this method of protection. That's how you processed it. But the reality is, it's not protecting you, it's hurting you. I tell people all the time, the same walls you have up to protect you, the same walls blocking your blessings. So you don't realize how this masculine energy is actually blocking blessings, and it is deteriorating your health. Whether you realize it or not, this is real. I'm not making this up. I'm telling you, this is a real issue. So beyond just men, I want to encourage you to learn how to get in touch with your feminine energy. Now, I will make videos on that But in the meantime, there are videos you can find on YouTube about feminine energy. And I encourage you to look at them. I don't want you to just look at my videos. I want you to simply learn and become better and live a higher quality of life. But I will provide those videos, and I have bigger plans as far as discussing feminine energy and masculine energy, because both sides need to understand the energy that's going to be more beneficial to them in the long run. And there's a lot more to it, but we won't get into all the other stuff. Bottom line is, good men, men who want relationships, they want feminine energy out of their woman. And when you're tapping into that feminine energy, that respect gets easier. That positive energy gets easier. That support and loyalty gets, all those other things we talked about, everything gets easier when you're more in tune with your feminine energy. And I'm confident you'll be able to find women who will comment on this video, who will attest to the power of the feminine energy, who will tell you how beneficial it has been for them to make the switch from masculine to feminine. And for you to make that switch, it will more than likely require healing from your past.
Yep.
Okay. You know what? Let's just take the gloves off and throw them out the window. It's bug repellent for men when a woman's way too masculine. It's gross.
Right? Because she's not receiving you.
Exactly. It's gross when she's like, well, men and women both have masculine and feminine. It's gross repellent to us when you're very masculine. I always tell women in the job, lead with femininity. Stop trying to compete with the men.
Right. Again, it just comes back to the ability to receive. And when, if we've been, maybe like me too, being a single mom, and we get used to doing everything on our own, and then sometimes it feels uncomfortable to receive from people. But being in your feminine energy with a man, the more if we respect a man, if we look up to him, if we think he's a good man, and he's giving that yummy, amazing masculine energy to us, the more we can receive that from him, the deeper the connection. So it's becoming the receiver to him, because men are givers. The masculine energy is the giver, the doer. And so
agreed.
Women just can't, they don't have the ability anymore, because they've been doing everything on their own. And to like receive something from somebody, it's like a skill that they have to almost, like, maybe they've never learned it. Maybe they've never had the chance to be able to just receive. Maybe they've been in trauma, childhood traumas, whatever it is, or they've been in traumatic relationships and they've closed themselves off. But as
healing from your past, and that's the most important part, because if you, as he said, you're gonna get bummy guys that are gonna want to leech off you, that are going to want to just take bedroom fun, finances, place to sleep, like all those other things.
Yeah.
And it's more hurtful to them. It's hurtful to you. You're an enabler for bad behavior. So for me, I would say, women, lead with your feminine energy.
Right. And if a woman is leading with that energy and she is receiving, how much more attracted are you to a woman that is non-combative, because she trusts you, because she does
100%.
just, so she's open and she's receiving and she's allowing you to lead. She's allowing you to share and open up and to talk, and she's receiving what you're saying. You are opening the door for her and she's receiving that, and she's saying thank you, and she's appreciating what you're doing. How much more connected are you going to be?
100 more. When a woman is like that with me, I see clearer future plans with her.
There you go.
And actually want to build with her. I'm already planning the next date, the date after that. I see a clearer vision of wanting to keep her around.
Yeah.
And he said something that was crazy that I really wanted to touch on. Men don't want someone that's for everybody.
Oh,
that was crazy.
I knew you were going to say something about that one.
Yeah, he does. And it's true. Women don't like that, but it's like, if you're for everybody, it's hard for that good man to hold reverence for you.
Well, everybody wants to feel special. And if that
Yeah.
guy or that girl has been for I mean, if somebody's not been with anybody, you'll probably be like, oh my God, like, oh, okay. So again, it's like this spectrum. If you've never been with anybody, that's going to be kind of weird. But if you're over here and you've been for everybody, well, then, how is that going to make me feel special? If you've made yourself available for everybody and you've been with this girl, or that guy, and that guy, and that guy, you know what I mean? And it goes on and
Well,
on.
that's what they say. If you play in the streets, you stay in the streets.
Well, they're
That's
there you go.
that's it. Because as he's saying that a man doesn't want a woman that's been with like everybody, but if she's out here just being masculine and she's like, and that's the thing, like when they come off, it's just so repelling. Like you
Right.
might tolerate her, but you tolerate her only because you want something from her, bedroom fun, whatever.
Right.
But like
Exactly.
you're not ever gonna include her in any future plans.
No, because she's not easy to be with.
Thank you.
Not easy to be with. She repels you. Masculine energy is repellent.
Thank you. Not
come
easy
together.
to be with. And
Right.
women hate to hear that because
It doesn't
they're
mean to
so
be a doormat.
busy.
It doesn't mean you're a doormat.
No,
Please do
exactly.
not- yeah, please do
It doesn't
not
mean
take
you're
this-
a doormat.
Yeah.
But why are you competing with your man?
Exactly. If you have to compete with your man, that means you don't trust him, you don't respect him, and so that's really not a man that you should be in a relationship with. Because when you trust a man and you respect him and you admire him and you like what he's doing in his life, and you're like, wow, like you are a good man, you're a good person, and I just respect you so much. I think you're so talented. I mean, you're just going to be so, when you find that man and that man's energy is coming, his masculine energy is coming towards you, and he wants to care for you, he wants to care about you, and he wants you in his future, and he's making plans with you, and he's making you feel like, and he's giving you your place.
That
Then-
gives women security, which is the thing that it is they're looking for.
Yes. Oh, we need it.
So-
we love it. And you guys need the respect, and you guys need the loyalty. I mean, we need the respect and the loyalty too, just as much. But all of this information is really just about weeding through people and meeting the right people, but also having the skills that is all being talked about in this video, so that when you do meet that amazing person,
you're able to receive them in better ways.
To receive it. You're open, you're able to receive it, and it's the most beautiful thing on earth. So yeah.
I love it. So guys, look, we took up extra 30 minutes with Jillian today because I know, like, but we're lucky enough that we got her for an extra 30 minutes. So look, we're gonna have her back on the show.
Yay.
We're going to be focusing on doing an all-star panel for you guys.
Woo!
Yeah, look, we appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it so much.
Of course.
Okay. Bye.
Take care.